Hello everyone. Hope you get to watch this video whenever you get the time. But we are here, Rishabh, myself, and Pranav, to preview or rather review the day one of the fourth test at Melbourne. All right. So we'll start. Give the honors to Rishabh to speak and just briefly summarize the whole day because he is at the MCG. So he would be able to give us more insights on what happened, what were the nitty gritties of the Konstas and Virat duel that he saw at the ground.
Yeah, to start off, I think a good day. It didn't really start off the way we intended it to, but the last 1.5 hour was completely India, and that's what makes it like a 50-50 at this point. If I have to be a little hopeful and give India some edge. But yeah, I mean, talking about that Constas and Kohli duel, we didn't really understand because the stand where we were, it felt like a natural after overs, the players are just changing it. It's only when the oohs and ahs started in the stand you understood that okay, there is something which is happening. And by the time that moment was gone, because the way Siraj set the tone right in the second over, sledging and walking towards, more than the players, it was the umpires who were running just to jump between the players and pull them apart. So it was something which could have been avoided, yes, but it did lift the spirits because suddenly you could see all the Aussies fired up in the stands as well with the beers in hand. Even though beer was chilled, but inside there was fire in them. And every ball, every shot, especially Constance, the way he started the build up, trying to reverse sweep or play that loft behind the square to Bumrah, missing 2 3 times and then connecting. It was an anti-climax of sorts. So it was a good day. All well that ends well, right? So it ended well for us. So pretty satisfied.
Yeah. Before we move to Pranav, right? Any other insights from the MCG, Rishabh? What about the weather? Is it really hot out there, and what is it really like for the players?
So it was. I mean, if you look at the temperature, it did show 35, 36, but it was windy. So you didn't break a sweat. You didn't really feel that warm. It was there was a steady breeze, and in between in patches there were like a huge dash of wind which was blowing. So it kept you cool, even though if you look at your watch and temperature on your phone, it did show 37, 36. So it was not the usual 37, 36 which we associate to in Mumbai somewhere. If this is 34, 35, 36, I am happy to accept that and play or live in this weather. That's the kind of weather it was. And for the players also, I mean the way the Aussie batters were playing, I don't think so. The Indians had to do a lot of running, which was fine. So pretty manageable weather, not something which was extreme as to what we thought. Because from the moment we left our place where we are staying, everywhere on the tram stations and everywhere there was a notification that it's extreme weather. Please stay hydrated. Please use sunscreen. And we were like, if this is extreme, then I would love to have this extreme every day at my place. But yeah, it looked alarming, but was not to that extent which it was portrayed to. That's for sure.
And also, Rishabh, I think having Wi-Fi in the ground, right, also kind of cools you down a little bit, right?
It does. I mean, MCG as a ground, amazing facilities. Be it the access points within within 4 to 5 minutes from the foyer, or basically entry to the park or the ground where the park or the ground is situated. Within 5 minutes, you're already at your seat. There is no unnecessary frisking where some middle-aged uncles are completing their fantasies by touching you all over. There's nothing of sorts. You can carry your bag, you can carry snacks, you can carry power banks and all other electronics, whichever you want, whatever you want. People had literally come with those picnic bags with a lot of food and stuff inside it. So
Yeah.
it's cricket. Watching cricket in Australia is more of a festival, right? And Boxing Day was that sort of an occasion. People wearing colorful clothes all around. Some coming in some weird fancy dress looks and all. It was an amazing atmosphere. And MCG as a venue, if you want to define the word picture is in a cricketing term, I think you just have to come and watch watch the MCG ground, irrespective of what is happening in the middle out there on the square. Just when you look at it, its magnitude, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and did you see any fine legs? Meaning on the ground. Any players had
Only
the fine
one.
leg.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Only one when Konstas was batting, Bumrah had kept one, especially after those two rams behind. That's the only time I saw fine legs,
Right, right.
or rather
Okay.
fine leg.
We'll spare you with that. We'll spare you with that. All right. Going to Pranav, right? Pranav obviously makes his debut at the NSG videos today. So a few claps for him. Pranav is an
Hope he's as
integral part of.
explosive as Sam Konstas.
Right. So Pranav is an integral part of the long rope army, previously known as the 12th man army, and also now has made a lot of inroads in the North Stand gang group as well. So Pranav, welcome. Um, I would like to start with you with the good toss to win for the Aussies. What are your views on the toss and the first hour or maybe the first session for Australia?
I think first of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to talk about cricket, especially when you're on holidays, watching cricket at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. So it's fun to talk cricket with like-minded people. About the toss, I think it's more of a 50-50 call based on stats, because the last 6 games, um, three teams won batting first, three teams won batting second, so it doesn't matter. It was more about how the first hour panned out for India, because uh, when Bumrah starts becoming predictable, then you can realize how bad it was as a team. Because the major problem is Mohammad Siraj and his bowling. Because when a supporting bowler starts leaking runs, you're starting to look uncomfortable in terms of plans. And that is where I had a problem with Rohit Sharma not handing the new cherry to Akashdeep straight away, because it's the sort of tactic which should come as an instinct to somebody like Rohit Sharma, having watched Akashdeep bowl at the Gabba with the new ball already. I mean, I don't know why they don't share the new ball with between Bumrah, even though he bowled the second new ball and then got carry immediately of that length. And he's natural that sort of bowler who bowls that Scott Boland kind of length. He's a bit of Scott Boland, he's a bit of Mohammad Shami, and he gives us those crucial breakthroughs. And I think one for 112 in the first session was very surprising. But at the same time, I liked how Sam Konstas approached international cricket, because you know once he got out LBW to Jadeja, he just came out and started clicking selfies with the fans, signing autographs. It's just very refreshing as a young cricketer who's not afraid of things that happen around him. And I think that's what Australia needed, because post Warner they did not have anyone who attacked, and Kawaja needed some time to build on the attack that's going from one end. Um, and Australia's approach is pretty clear, right? Well, you attack from one end, and the other end just eats up balls. So you're basically batting time, but at the same time you're ticking around 4 runs and over through the day. So I think that's a sensible approach. Um,
Right.
but yeah, the first half belonged to India. Sorry, the first
Australia.
actually session belonged to Australia. But then India clawed their way back, and I sort of liked Rohit Sharma's captaincy from second session. But yeah, Constas the star of the day. But for me, the star of the day is Akashdeep. He is pulled his heart out. I'd seriously urge Rohit Sharma to just give him the ball and just leave it with him.
Yeah,
He'll
and
do
and
whatever.
and on Akashdeep's point, right? What it seems is that this guy is like Ishan Sharma. He likes to bowl the longer spells, and the longer he bowls in a spell, it seems he becomes more effective. So that's one point. The other point that you mentioned, Pranav, and the word approach is very important here. The reason being, I didn't like the shots that Constas played. Okay, they were all across the line, probably. He was giving himself a lot of room. He was playing risky cricket. But like you said, the approach against the best bowler in the world was the highlight in his batting. All right, and then that he also backed up with what you said, the selfies with the fans while the match is going on, was another added factor in his character. But I think the approach made the difference, and there was a lot of I think comparison between Virendra Sehwag's approach and Konstas's approach, but I don't think there is any similarity in the approach. Sehwag, though he had minimalist footwork, he did play traditional cricketing shots to get those runs. But if you ask me, Konstas got all of his runs, maybe barring one four uh, in the extra cover. All of them were all risky shots, and they like I said, I like the approach, but the approach only looks good when it pays off, and when the batting when the wicket is sort of a pata wicket, as we call in Mumbai, and this, it looks like, is a pata wicket. But on the wicket, right, I'd again like to circle back to Rishabh and get his comments on the wicket. It seems more like the wicket resembles the wicket that was given, the practice wicket that was given to India, rather than the wicket that was given to Australia for practice, isn't it, Rishabh?
Yeah, it actually looks like that. There's hardly any grass covering on it. It's a pretty brown pitch, which, I mean, if you look at the color, it's very similar to what you get in India also. I mean, the newer one, especially if you look at. There was no swing. So initially, the first two, three, 4 overs, the ball swung a little bit, but after that, it literally stopped swinging. Odd ball here or there was just moving after pitching or some seam movement, but the traditional swing, what you speak about in Australia, was nowhere to be seen on this wicket, and that is the reason why you see the top three Australian batters get to 50 very easily. Top four
Mhm.
rather got get to 50. So. Not a sporting wicket. I mean, at one point, if I can tell you, towards the end of second session, we were like, "गया." It's a long day. ये 450 मारेंगे हमारे 150 पे शायद खुल जाएंगे. So those were the thoughts which were circling back, right? And then came that last 1.5 hour, which got everyone going. Even though Kohli tried his best to keep us on our seats with that sledging and that whatever that shoulder push and all, but when it comes to bat and ball, the pitch definitely did not assist the bowlers at all.
Yes.
Even when spinners came in, I think there was that one Jadeja ball where he got Sam Konstas LBW. That one turn. Apart from that, hardly a few deliveries would have spun, and the ball was just going straight on. So, I mean, not the traditional MCG wicket or a wicket in Australia which you can relate to. But yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of grass enough to hold the wicket together. So it's not like you'll see a lot of cracks and a lot of turn going into the game. It will slow down probably, but it will hold its shape the way it is. So I feel that if India get a chance to bat tomorrow, which possibly they will, if they don't score runs, they cannot blame the wicket. It is them who are to be blamed.
Yeah, absolutely. Any thoughts on the pitch, Pranav?
I think it's sort of the curator when I saw his interview. They've changed the surface post the last India Australia Melbourne test, where it had a little bit of moisture, where Ashwin picked up Steve Smith right away. Um, Australia were bundled out for 200. The problem or the thing that I noticed here is there's a lot of sideways movement. It's not proper conventional swing or seam movement that you get, and um, there are not a lot of bowlers apart from Bumrah in India who can use the sideways movement quite a lot, unless there's one slopey end or one slanting end, unlike England where Mohammad Siraj can just use the slope and trouble the batters. In fact, Mohammad Siraj doesn't look threatening at all with the ball. Uh, but the point that I noticed here is it's sort of a spongy bounce, and this will suit India more as the sun sort of beats down the wicket, because what I feel is that Australia have one spinner less, and I'm not defending Shubman Gill's acts, but what I'm trying to say here is that um, with Nathan Lyon and just Scott Boland, Pat Cummins, Mitch Stark, I don't know how effective they will be as a unit on this wicket, especially with the sun beating down on the wicket. because it somehow just feels that Rohit Sharma's decision to bat up the order might just pay off on this wicket, because um, his sort of lean onto the drive shots will be very effective here. He's not
Yeah.
someone who plays that extravagant cover drive. He just leans onto the ball. He just times the ball, and if we somehow play out the first session, as in something what happened in Perth, we took the last, I think, 3 or 4 wickets in the first session, and then we batted the whole day, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, and if that can happen, then it will be very fruitful for India, because the sun slowly starts beating down around 10 10:30 local time, and until then, as Rishabh mentioned, there will be enough sea movement. So if you counter those first 12 overs, you're in for some fun of runs, which a lot of Indian batters need. So I
Right.
think this is a wicket for runs, but it also depends on what sort of mindset you're in at the moment. If you're
Yeah.
a KL Rahul, you will get runs. If you're a Rohit Sharma, I don't know what happens. So
Yeah.
it's the sort of mindset that you're in as a batsman.
True. True. I think
But
completely resonate with what Rishabh is saying and what you are saying, Pranav. Yes, Rishabh.
no, I was just saying that the mindset part is correct, and it's all about sticking to your style of play because you spoke about how Konstas batted. You also touched upon his fellow opener Usman Khawaja. When he was batting, it felt as if there's an invisible skipping rope which is going around because every ball he was just jumping in the air and
Yeah.
defending. He was just trying to jump in the air. He was trying to play the ball right below his eyes. He's not trying to score runs because obviously the runs were coming thick and fast from the other end. But he survived to the bad delivery, scored runs, got to a 50. He could have easily got to 100 because he threw his wicket away. It was not just Bumrah's wicket; it was Usman Khawaja gifting his wicket away. So uh, it's not a wicket where there is a traditional template for a batter to follow that this is how you have to play. If you play your style of cricket and you're confident about it, runs will easily come on this sort of a wicket. So uh, if you're talking about Rohit Sharma, he has to whatever feel good factor he had inside him, which were not converting to runs as per him in the last post match press conference. This is the time that it has to come into or seen into his performance. Otherwise, things might be difficult for us.
Right.
There's another
Absolutely.
reason why I'm saying this wicket suits Rohit Sharma is because if you look at most of the Australian bowlers, except Mitch Stark, they don't swing the ball a lot. Scott Boland is not a primary swing bowler. Pat Cummins is again not a primary swing bowler. They're missing Josh Hazelwood big time. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you're bowling at that 6 to 7 meter length, you're actually enticing the batter to pull the ball. Which obviously, if I go back to today's innings, it's Osman Khawaja's wicket. Or even before that, Osman Khawaja pulled Jadeja. It's not a pull. It's just a jibe, which is on your hip length, and you're clearing your front leg, or not exactly clearing your front leg, but just swiveling across towards mid wicket or square leg. Um, and that sort of shot is Rohit Sharma's release shot in white ball cricket. So you could argue I'm
Absolutely. Yeah.
mixing formats, but
No, I
the thing
completely
here
agree.
is
But just one thing, one disclaimer here. And I sort of want to reveal one secret for the Aussies, and that is they could actually employ Labuschagne as a bowler, bowling those short pitch stuff to Rohit Sharma, who will play a couple of sixes and then give a dolly to the final
no,
leg.
I think
And
the
Rishabh, if you meet any of these Aussies tomorrow, please don't reveal these plans.
no, I think Labuschagne as a bowler will be the last test resort for Pat Cummins, because I think they have Lyon, then they'll try and bowl Travis Head's half spin um,
Yeah.
as well. But what I'm trying to say here is that Scott Boland versus England in the Ashes here took a six for, but that wicket was completely different. It was closer to what Rishabh is wearing at the moment. It was completely black, and then on top of that, it was green. So it's just seeming around for fun, and Joe Root and other batters were just pushing the bat out, and it just took the edge for fun. So what I'm trying to say here is, not a lot of edges will carry. So
Yeah.
you will
With
see
with with
some.
that comment, right, Pranav, you've actually done a Constas kind of a debut at NSG.
No, no. So what
Rishabh
I'm
would
trying
agree
to
on that as well.
so what I'm trying to say here is, you will see the second slip mostly under helmet. That is what I
Mm,
expect, because you want that catches to carry. Maybe somebody like Travis Head will always be under the lid. There is no bounce, so you won't see a lot of short leg, but you will see somebody at backward square leg, because someone could fend off trying to play the leg glance, or maybe you will see a leg gully. So
yeah,
it could happen that, so you could have multiple plans. They will not rely just on swing alone. That is what I'm trying to put here, and it will
yeah.
suit somebody like Rohit Sharma, because when the ball is not moving a lot, he's a very different batter. um, when the ball is moving a lot, he's a very different batter, obviously. I mean, you saw that in England. I'm just praising him because he did well against
Another
England. But
another reverse scoop for a six by Pranav.
no, I mean, when the ball is not swinging a lot, he's a very different batter. He can take the game away in a jiffy. So what I'm trying to say here is, he could do a Constas, or he could do a
Yeah,
Labuschagne. Labuschagne played a very ugly innings today, but that's super effective because he batted balls. He didn't bat for runs, because he's allowing somebody like a Travis Head to come and just attack from ball one, which didn't happen, obviously, thanks to Bumrah.
yeah.
But
I think more or less to summarize, right? Tomorrow would be the most important day for India as far as this series is concerned. If our batting clicks at least in for two sessions out of three, and if we are able to wrap up
it has to
Australia
click and
in
hang. In,
click and
in
hang,
PC
yes,
terms, it has to click and hang,
click
never
and hang,
uh,
absolutely, yeah.
restart,
Just stay there, yeah. Just stay there for a day. That's it. Just
pause.
and if we are able to wrap up the Australian tail, uh, not including Steve Smith in that because he has scored a couple of innings. Otherwise, we would have included him in the tail, like how we include
Watch out for
uh,
Akashdeep. He might end
fourth
up
of
picking a
India in
five
tail.
for. I'll put my money on, give it to Rishabh and say, put your money on Akashdeep. He might pick a five for. Might just outbowl Bumrah with a new ball, because he's looking very threatening. I can't
Yeah.
stop saying enough of Akashdeep. Sorry to hijack the episode, but
But
uh,
but we also want to see some good runs by this fellow behind me, right? I think big time that he is able to perform. I hope he doesn't come to bat tomorrow, and we have a top four bat well. Also, in one of the previous episodes, one of my friends, Murli, had done a research and said that if Kohli comes to bat after the first 25 or 30 overs, it's a good sign for us because we'll be scoring big, and that's when we win test matches. So let's hope that our top three click.
I'll give you a little stat. Um, Smith and Kohli, if they come after 100 runs or something of that sort, they almost average the same. They average 40 odd in Test cricket.
Mm,
So you can do your maths.
absolutely. Good point there. He's not just a good opener; he's also a good statesman.
Yeah.
And we see increasingly as we go along the episode, we see increasingly Rishabh looking tired after a long day at MCG at 37 degrees Celsius. So we'll give him some break and meet again tomorrow. But any closing comments, Rishabh and Pranav?
Yeah, I just say that hope we have a good day tomorrow, and when we come and speak after tomorrow's play, we speak about Jaiswal, we speak about Rohit Sharma, and maybe KL Rahul, and not go below that. No, that's the
In
bare
a
minimum.
positive sense, not in a
Yeah,
negative
in a
sense.
positive. But yeah, I think a big day tomorrow. I think tomorrow will give us a clarity which way this game is headed. Are we going for another draw? Is it Aussie win? Is it India win? And I'm really excited to go to the stadium tomorrow because today being Boxing Day, it was almost 80-85% of the stadium was packed. Right. Tomorrow being a normal day, I expect less people. So today was very much unlike Test match where you have music all around, people running around up and down in colored clothes and all. Usually test match is a lot more simpler, lot more calmer. It gives you time to settle down. So I'm expecting tomorrow will be that sort of a day. But just hope that we should settle down in the stands and not the players out there in the middle. Otherwise, things will be difficult.
Yeah,
Boxing Day tests in Australia will never let you settle down, Rishabh. So all 5 days or 4 days, 4.5 days, you're in for some serious fun. That too in Melbourne. So it's sold out from what I can see. So you're in for some serious fun. Enjoy your time, perhaps. Sitting here,
yeah,
jealous of you that you're there. But yeah,
yeah. So one more question, Rishabh. While you're there, are binoculars allowed inside the stadium?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So, so by the looks of it, right, apart from a gun and a bomb, you can take everything inside. And alcohol, sorry. Apart from these three things, you can take everything and anything inside.
And alcohol you can buy, but the other two things you cannot.
Yeah, that's true. Inside the stadium. And if you have sources, you can obviously buy it outside and use it outside. That's a different story. But yeah,
Yeah.
alcohol.
Also, you've been to Ahmedabad and you've been to Melbourne, right? Two biggest cricket grounds. So, what difference do you see in terms of viewing the proceedings on the ground? Is it the same? Obviously, the weather not considered.
No, if I just talk about the two venues, with all the other things being constant, uh,
Mm, mm,
MCG is 100 times better than Ahmedabad in terms of fan experience. If I talk about us, right? Firstly, even if my stand is at the second level or third level, I don't have to climb up as many stairs. It's
mhm,
not like I'm just climbing 5 6 floors of a spiral staircase going into nowhere. When at that point when you're climbing steps in Ahmedabad, you feel you're closer to heaven than to your stand. But here that's not the case. It's very easy, and the bays and the foyers are a lot more wider, so a lot of people can be accommodated. You don't feel as if you are at a railway station or a railway station bridge where it's not you who's walking but the person behind you pushing. So that's not the case at MCG. Uh, every level they have shops to eat, drink, clean toilets. The what do you say? Even in terms of the most important thing I liked about MCG is the stand is a lot more steeper than the Ahmedabad stadium. So if I can just relate it to Wankhede, right? What makes Wankhede's experience or viewing experience better is it is steep. It's more of like a 70 80 degree angle. So even from a level 3, you feel as if the action is just happening right under your eyes, right in front of you. Whereas in Ahmedabad, it's more of like a, maybe say a 40, 50, 60 degree
yeah.
angle. So you feel as if the action is happening somewhere far out there ahead. MCG is very much like Wankhede. So even if you are sitting in level 2A, which if I talk about floors in pure number is maybe a third level. So there are 4 levels. We are at the third level. I could actually see the action. I could spot the ball. I could see which player is standing where, and I could make which player it is just by looking at their face. I didn't have to ask the other yaar ki ye kaun sa hai, or wait for him to turn behind to look at his number and then try to relate it to a player. So viewing
Absolutely.
wise, it's 100 times better. We were taken care of every 1 hour, 2 hours. There was a person from the housekeeping was going around the stands to collect any of our eatables, garbage which we wanted to throw. Uh, there were their staff. The MCG staff was constantly there to ensure none of us are standing in the galleys or the lobbies. They were trying to tell us, please keep this area vacant for people to move. So as a fan, I felt as if okay, I am also of some importance, and it's not only about those 22 guys out there. So the
Yeah.
MCG 100 times better than Motera for sure.
All right. That was some really good insight from Rishabh. Thanks for that. I think we'll stop here for now, and we'll hopefully when we come back tomorrow, we will have happy faces. And like Rishabh said, we'll only have to talk about a couple of batters from India, and the partnership is long, and is lucrative for India. Hopefully. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for your time, and good night to you, Rishabh, and a good evening to you, Pranav. Talk to you later. Bye
Yes,
bye.
speak soon. Thanks.